everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am literally so thrilled to dive into this with you today because we're exploring a concept that, well, it can fundamentally change how we experience the world. The source material outlines what I like to call the architecture of optimism. Think about that for a second. We usually treat our mindset like the weather, right? Like something that just happens to us that we simply have to endure. But what if it's not the weather at all? What if it's a structure? A building that you can actively design, construct, and maintain. So today we're going to use this really powerful architectural metaphor to understand the raw materials of our thoughts and learn how to build a mental space that actually serves us.
Okay, let's dive into this. Is negative thinking natural? I mean, it's a question every single one of us has grappled with. Have you ever noticed that when something goes wrong, maybe it's a sudden unexpected bill, an ambiguous "we need to talk" text from your boss, or just some weird noise in your car engine, your brain doesn't instantly go, "Oh, I'm sure it's absolutely fine." No way. Your brain immediately jumps to the absolute worst-case scenario. Ruin, disaster, the whole shebang. It can feel so exhausting, and honestly, it kind of makes us feel broken, like we're just permanently wired for misery. We carry around this heavy stress, wondering why our first instinct is so dark, when we really just want to be happy.
So that brings us to part one, the natural default. This is all about how we respond to challenging situations.
Now, every architectural project starts on a plot of land, right? And in life, well, that land isn't always perfectly flat or beautifully landscaped. We build our lives on the reality of challenging situations. This is the messy, totally unlandscaped ground level where all of our mental construction literally has to begin. Unless you got some magical bulldozer, hardships, sudden crises, and just that everyday friction, those are the raw, unfiltered environments we are forced to build upon. We don't get to choose this terrain. It's rocky, it's unpredictable, and honestly, it is entirely unavoidable.
So the crucial point here is this. Negative thinking is natural in challenging situations. I really want you to take a deep breath and just let the profound simplicity of that exact quote from our source material wash over you. If you have ever felt guilty for feeling anxious, or if you've beaten yourself up for not being immediately positive when things get tough, let this be a massive sigh of relief. Your negative thinking in a crisis, it isn't a glitch in your system. It's actually exactly what the system is designed to do.
Let's really unpack the mechanics of this default response, because understanding this completely removes the shame from the equation. This response occurs specifically during challenges. It is entirely natural, and it's our baseline instinct. Think of it kind of like the weeds that naturally grow on that unlandscaped plot of land we just talked about. You don't have to plant weeds, they just appear, because that's the wild, natural terrain of the earth. In the exact same way, negativity isn't a personal failure. Actually, scratch that. It's not a lack of willpower or a character flaw at all. It is just the wild, natural terrain of the human mind trying to protect you by anticipating danger. It's just your mind doing its default job.
Which leads us to part two, the architecture of optimism. It's time to talk about a constructed space. And this brilliantly illustrates the daily crossroads we face. On one side, we have our default state, natural, unconscious, negative thinking. It requires zero effort, it just happens. But on the exact opposite side, we have the alternative, constructed, conscious, positive practice. Optimism is not a natural occurrence. It is a constructed environment. Just like a beautiful, sturdy house doesn't just magically assemble itself from a pile of bricks, a positive mindset absolutely does not magically assemble itself from a pile of stressful circumstances. You have to actively, consciously choose to pick up the tools and build it.
Let's move to part three and see how this builds into the practice of positivity. This is all about the active choice of positive thinking.
I really want to focus heavily on the definition of this specific word, practice, repeated exercise in or performance of an activity or skill. We tend to look at highly optimistic, resilient people and think, they won some kind of genetic lottery. We think they were simply born with a sunny disposition. But true optimism isn't a passive genetic gift. It's an active, daily labor. It's a repeated exercise. It's swinging the hammer day in and day out. In fact, the source material notes it takes consistent repetition to physically rewire the brain's pathways. If you want a strong mental house, you gotta put in the reps. It is a skill you develop through sheer repetition.
Which brings us to the ultimate succinct directive here. 3 incredibly powerful words. Practice positive thinking. This isn't just a suggestion for when you have some free time, okay? This is the necessary daily maintenance required to keep your mental house standing strong against the storms of life. Just as you wouldn't let a leaky roof go unfixed or a cracked foundation go unpatched, you just cannot let negative thoughts run rampant without consciously countering them. You must practice the positivity. You got to do the work of finding the good, reframing the challenge, and laying down the bricks of hope one by one.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it gives us a clear, chronological blueprint that you can apply literally the second this explainer ends. Think of this as your mental schematic. Step 1. Face a challenging situation. That's our unlandscaped plot of land. Step 2. Acknowledge the natural negative thought. You look at those weeds and say, okay, that's natural. I'm not broken. My brain is just trying to protect me. And then comes the absolutely crucial pivot. Step 3. Actively practice positive thinking. You pull the weeds, you lay the foundation, and you consciously choose to construct a different perspective. It's a sequential, repeatable process that puts the power entirely back in your hands.
So, as we wrap up our exploration today, I want to leave you with this thought. Knowing that your initial negative reactions are completely natural, but also knowing that you possess the exact tools and the blueprint to construct something better, what kind of mindset will you build today? Will you let your thoughts just run wild, or will you step up and become the architect of your own optimism? The raw materials are right there in front of you. The choice of what to build is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really can't wait to see what you construct.